guys, I'm Nina Zadeh with Sidewalker Daily, and in today's video, I want to talk about influencer collaborations, but this time, if you're an influencer, how to collaborate with other influencers. Now, this is so important because collaborations and networking are one of the integral pieces of finding success as an influencer. You can't do this in a vacuum. You can't do this by yourself. Influencer marketing is literally all about being a leader and connecting with other leaders. It's about having true influence. One of the reasons that you're going to want to reach out to other influencers or people in your space is not only to borrow their audience, to get access to their audience so you can grow yours, but also to develop relationships with people. I feel like one of the things that people forget with social media is the importance of human connection. This trumps everything. Having people on your team that you can call, that you can reach out to is a hidden ace when it comes to not only working with brands and growing your influence, but it's going to set you apart because you're going to have true friends in this space. So in today's video, I want to dive deep into influencer collaborations and how you guys can reach out. Before I do, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that little bell button so you can be notified on the next video. Okay, so as you guys know, some of you are new here. Just to give you the quick rundown, Sidewalker Daily. I work with influencers and help them build their businesses. But I started off by working with brands and doing their influencer marketing. So I would work with tons of different brands and hire the influencers to get them on campaigns. Now, one thing that I would often do as being on the brand side, I would ask the influencer, hey, do you have a recommendation? Is there someone that you can recommend to me? You know, I booked you on a campaign, but I'm looking for a few more spots. Do you have anyone that you can bring to the table? Well, think about it this way. If you're someone that's getting, friends with other people in your industry, this is going to elevate your chances of being able to potentially work with brands. Now, this happens all the time. When I am doing that sort of networking with my influencers and I'm looking for other people to work with, they'll often be like, oh yeah, you should work with my friend so-and-so, or you should check this guy out. He's awesome. I'm getting word of mouth referrals. So this is really important to the influencers out there that are all by themselves. You guys need to find a network. You need to find a community of other people like you. There's this saying that you want friends that bring up your name in a room full of opportunities. So definitely networking with other influencers is going to help you get opportunities. This happens all the time, okay? And it's not only from the brand side, maybe someone that I pitched to is like, hey, I can't do it at the moment. I'm fully committed, but you should totally look into my friend so-and-so. And that referral, I'm like, oh my gosh, amazing, because I trust that the influencer is referring someone else that's just as good. And it's less work for someone on the brand side. So definitely consider that as to the why it's so important to network with other influencers. Another huge reason is borrowing their audience. So if you're collaborating with another influencer and you guys are doing something together, it's a win-win because your audiences are now getting exposure to the other influencer. Now think about it from this perspective. If someone vouches for you and is like, oh, you guys should totally go check out so-and-so, she's awesome, or he's super creative, your audience trusts you already, right? So your retention and your ability to probably get follows are going to be a lot higher because that person is saying, go follow my friend. It's just human psychology. So that's why you want to make these sort of connections. You want people to say, follow so-and-so, or you guys should totally check him or her out. The person who's saying that, and even you yourself, if you're saying that to your audience trusts you. So they're going to go look at the other person. So this is an awesome way to grow your following on Instagram by leveraging other people's audiences. Now, I'm going to dive into some tips on things that how to pitch to another influencer to get them interested in working with you. But if you find yourself a little bit confused or need a little bit more one-on-one, I'm going to leave a link below so that you can work with me and I can help you figure out how to collaborate and how to really build out your business and include networking as a part of your business strategy. So I will leave that link below so that you can book a one-on-one. Okay, so let's think about our pitching to an influencer the same way we would think about pitching in general. What can I bring to the table? When I say I mean you. What can you bring to the table? What value do you have? If you're going to someone else and saying, hey, I want to collaborate, again, that doesn't tell me what you want, doesn't excite me, and it's quite, I don't know, blah. You know, you want someone to come to you with an idea, come to you and excite you, something that's like, oh, like we should totally do this. Using the word collaborate is actually a really big pet peeve of mine because I don't think it's descriptive enough. So when you're thinking about pitching to some other influencer, think to yourself, what value can I bring them? You know, what's going to make them stop and say, yeah, totally, we should work together or we should do something together. One tip that I love is I think everyone likes to talk about themselves, right? So I think if you can incorporate some sort of interview series or a guest speaker, or go to that influencer and say, hey, I'd love to interview you for my blog, or I'd love to interview you on IGTV. I'd love to do a guest speaker series, or I'm doing a write-up on XYZ and I'd love for you to provide some quotes. Now that person is like, oh, like, yeah, you know, maybe this is something that they would want to participate in because they're trying to get press, they're trying to get eyeballs, they're trying to grow. So I think going to someone with a concept, but in that interview style, is a great way to open the door and get people to know you, to like you, and to feel connected with you. Another thing I think is a really great way for another influencer to collaborate with another influencer is asking them to do something together. So like, I've seen this happen. I've seen someone reach out and they've said, let's do an IG live together. I'm hosting an IG live series weekly and I bring on, again, guest speakers, or I bring on different personalities to talk about XYZ. I think my audience would love to hear from you. This is a very similar interview style series, but it's doing it on a live. The reason a live is cool is because when they're both live on Instagram, you both get that notification to your audiences. So their audience will learn about you, versus if you're doing it on your blog, it's really just your audience learning about them. That's why I think a live is super, super fun. I also think that you can go to someone and say to, and bring them into a pitch. So maybe you go to an influencer and you're like, hey, I am pitching to this brand and I thought you would be a great fit to include in our pitch. We're doing a collaborative pitch and this is, the vision, blah, 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 blah. This is now alerting someone like, oh, you want to bring me business, you want to make me money, and if I align with you, maybe that's something I would want to go ahead and do, especially if our interests are aligned. Now, when you're thinking about how do I find influencers to collaborate, who should I pitch to? I always say that we all have digital friends on Instagram. We all have friends that we don't know in person, but that we always like and comment on their posts. We'll start with those people because they're technically warm leads and it's not someone totally random off the internet. I would also suggest not going to someone that has hundreds of thousands of followers if you're just starting out. Unless you're doing a guest speaker sort of series, if you're trying to do something where you guys are kind of equals, look for someone that's in a similar range and a similar niche as you. This way it feels collaborative for both of you. Also, if you can get an intro, this is so much better than just reaching out to someone cold. If you can say, oh, we have a mutual friend, or we have someone, a mutual follower, or some sort of intro style post, this is awesome as well because you're able to meet, that person, but you're leveraging your existing relationship with someone else. I think that's a great way to start. And also look at your own followers. Check out who's following your stories, who's watching your stories, who's commenting on your posts, who's liking your posts. Sometimes my biggest collaborations are from people that are already in my network. I just don't even know about them. So next time you're in your stories, go and click and see who's watching them and see, is there someone here that I could reach out to do a collaboration with? Now, if you are looking for a network of other like-minded creators, Sidewalker Daily, this is exactly what we do. Whether it's through our group coaching or on our one-on-one, we connect people all the time. We have a really good network of creators and influencers. So I'll leave more information below so that you can learn about how to access our network of creators. Now, I think another way to collaborate with an influencer, something I think especially local, is hosting a panel or a virtual summit. When you bring someone on in that panelist form, or ask them, hey, do you want to organize this together? Or do you want to, host a nonprofit, a fundraiser for a local nonprofit? Taking that local angle gives you guys a common thread. It's like we're both from the same town, we're both from the same city, we have this already in common. Let's have a common goal of doing something, especially around the holidays. Like if you pitch a concept or an idea to another influencer saying, hey, you know what? this is coming up. Would you want to do a fundraiser together? We can invite other people. We can do something cool, and maybe it's not a fundraiser. Maybe it's an in-person event, or maybe it's a virtual event. But going to them, in this concept of doing an event together, co-hosting, bringing them along, people will think, oh, okay, maybe there's a business opportunity here for me. Like, I should explore this further. And that's why having an optimized bio on your Instagram is super important, because when you are doing that pitching, you want people to come back and look at your page and be like, oh, everything makes sense. So I do have a video all about the perfect Instagram bio. I'm going to leave so that you guys can watch that. And again, it's super important because you want, when you're engaging with someone or pitching to an influencer, they're definitely going to go check you out on Instagram. So you want to make sure everything kind of like looks clean and polished and ready for that pitch. All right, guys, so that wraps up today's video. I hope you found it helpful and valuable. As always, I read all the comments. Let me know what tips stood out to you, which one is your favorite, and which one are you going to try this week, because I challenge you to try it this week. Even forget this week, today, I challenge you to try one of these tips today and start collaborating with other influencers in the space so that you guys can work together, grow your audiences, and build your true influence. I'm so excited to read your comments, so definitely leave it. And like I said earlier, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in the next video.